there's that big misconception is we're the bad guys and all we want to do is just throw people in jail or give citations and stuff. No, it's education.
Right.
You know, it's trying to just teach them about being an adult.
What's up, College Station? I'm Grace Hallwell, and today I'm joined once again by Officer David Simmons of the College Station Police Department. Welcome back.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. I am rested and refreshed from our holiday break, and I am ready to kick off the new year, which is in a couple days, which is hard to believe. I feel like 2025 just went so fast.
It sure did.
So let's talk about what it is that you do for the College Station Police Department.
Right, so I'm the public information officer, so I handle up on all of the public information requests, handle up on media requests, as well as run our social media. So I am constantly out and about, riding around, gathering content that can hopefully show our community what it is that we do on a daily basis, but also further our work in trying to get more officers on the streets of College Station to serve this community.
Yes, absolutely. And that is a key part, is the public information and communication, and you are that liaison between what goes on at the department or in the community to the community.
Correct.
So how long have you been in your current role?
So coming up in May, it'll be 4 years,
Okay.
and I've been with the department for coming up next month on 9 years.
Okay, so quite a long time.
Yeah.
What has made you stay with the College Station Police Department as opposed to looking for work somewhere else?
Yeah, so big thing for me is I'm from here.
Yeah.
You know, this is my hometown. Technically Bryan, but I didn't want to work in Bryan at the time, and I thought College Station just kind of had a great mix of variety of community. Plus all the events that, you know, College Station has, from the city side all the way to Texas A&M, that we get to be a part of.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't want to address the elephant in the room, but A&M, the football season did not go as I think most of us would have hoped, but that's okay.
Battered Aggie syndrome.
Yes.
It's a thing for this community.
Yes. So did you go to A&M, or did you go get your education elsewhere and come back?
So I went to Blinn, and then I moved up to Washington in 2010, went to school up there for a little bit, and then I came back. I did not go to A&M. My wife went to A&M. She's way smarter than I am. So she's an Aggie, but we call her a one percenter because she didn't really understand all the Aggie traditions. She didn't really partake in all that stuff. So I kind of had to educate her when we got married about what it is to be an Aggie, because I grew up here and we went to every single A&M thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I appreciate the people like you, especially being a Northerner and not knowing, you know, what all these traditions are.
Yeah.
I remember the first game I went to, when you're supposed to link arms. I had no idea. And the people next to me were kind of looking at me like, what is she doing? Why isn't she joining in? And they were like, we have a feeling you're not from here. And I was like, no, I'm not. And they're like, oh, well, don't worry. We got you.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the good thing about every student that's coming in. You know, A&M takes a lot of pride in their traditions.
Yes.
And you are going to learn, especially whenever you're coming in as a freshman. You're going to learn all the traditions and stuff like that, but you also get to learn about the police department here, because most Aggies are living off campus.
Right, absolutely. And I was going to say, learning about the city is just as important. And our city is a relatively young city by city standards, but we still have those traditions and those rules that make things flow better as a community. I know we say all the time our population is unique because we have the students, we have young families, we have retirees coming back. So it's a unique balance to get everybody to live together harmoniously.
Right.
So what are some of the challenges that you face trying to keep that balance, or the things that you see that you notice are unique to College Station?
I think every year we just have a influx of such new variety of students. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to drive and they don't know our roadways, right? So we are, once move-in season is coming, our patrol division just has to, you know, get buckled up and get ready, because we have a lot of crashes here. Yes. Along Texas, George Bush, Welborn, you name it. We have so many crashes. And so that's being able to go out and educate drivers, whether that be through a citation or a warning, that's kind of the biggest hurdle that we come across. It's just basically that. And we talk about Northgate. About Northgate a lot. Northgate has its own set of issues and problems. However, it is a great place for us as the police department and our C-STEP unit to go out and talk to these kids,
right,
and make relationships. We have so many of these kids that come here, and they spend time. They come up and speak to the officers. They get to know them by first name basis. So for 4 years, you build these relationships by them partaking in Northgate activities. But then when it's time for graduation, parents come. We get to meet their families and everything like that too. So it's kind of a win-win.
Right, and a lot of these kids, this is their first time living on their own. You don't know what you don't know, so to speak. Especially at that age, you're learning and figuring things out. And our officers here are there to help. They're not there to punish you. But if you make a mistake, y'all are there to help correct the mistake and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Correct, and I think there's that big misconception is we're the bad guys and all we want to do is just throw people in jail or give citations and stuff. No, it's education.
Right.
It's trying to just teach them about being an adult.
Right.
Because their parents aren't here. You have to make big boy and big girl decisions.
Yeah.
So do it the right way.
Yes, absolutely. And what is your favorite thing about what you do day to day?
So my position, like I said, is unique.
Yes.
I have a lot of the luxury of freedom within my schedule. Chief has given me, kind of the go-ahead to adjust my schedule how I want to. He's given me some, not all free reign, but a lot of reign to just go out and capture the moments that address, an issue or go right around with patrol and just film content based off of them, showing their day-to-day activities, specialized assignments and stuff like that. I can go out and I can ride around with them or go to their trainings, or if they're going to be at an event, like our motors division will go to Round Rock. They will participate in I think it's called a sports, I forget what it's called, but it's a motor rodeo, and it's,
Gotcha.
It's motorcycles from around the country that travel here, motorcycle officers, and they compete, and I can go out there and spend time with them and capture these moments and stuff. So
yeah, and that is an incredible I'm sure freedom. You feel that whatever, you have that trust between you and your supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it is a very unique position on what you get to do, and if you weren't doing it, our public might not know that there are these things that are going on or available to them as resources.
Right. And social media has become a great way for law enforcement, as well as with any other first responders association or department, to get information out quickly. And I have taken this role to a different level, I would say, compared to some of the other agencies, and not putting them on blast at all, but because this is my community that I grew up in, I think our community deserves to know kind of what's going on. Right. To an extent, right? I can't just go out there and just blast the entire information out, because we have to protect the integrity of an investigation, whether it be a critical incident that I'm responding to, or just kind of something in the moment. So transparency is a big thing within law enforcement right now, and building that trust with the community.
Yes, absolutely. And before we get into the topic of today's episode, how can people contact you if they have questions about anything that we talk about?
Right. So we have a non-emergency number that'll get you straight to dispatch. Then there you can just basically ask them any sort of question, and they'll direct you to it. That's 979-764-3600. Obviously, if you have an emergency, call 911.
Yes.
Right? Don't call 911 for, a dog, running loose.
Gotcha.
Right? So that's for emergencies only. As well as our social media pages, we do have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So that's just going to be your basic Facebook handle, College Station Police Department, and then at CSTX Police.
Gotcha. And then if somebody wants to find information that we don't cover today, but they just have a general question for the police department, where is the best way for them to find that? Is it through our website? Or is it through, calling that non-emergency line, stopping into the police department? What is the best way?
Yeah, so don't feel like you have to come into the police department to just ask a question. So you can message us on any of those social media platforms. It's not monitored 24/7, but I do a good job of keeping up with it. You're probably going to get me responding back to you. Or go to our website. Our website has just a bunch of information. Or go to the city website, because sometimes that information is not police related.
Gotcha.
And
Yes.
then you'll be directed to the right place.
Absolutely. So kicking things off, we are coming up on New Year's Eve. I know I have my plans settled. I will be watching the series finale of Stranger Things. I'm a big Stranger Things fan, so I am looking forward to my New Year's Eve, quiet New Year's Eve in front of my TV. But that is not the case for a lot of people. It is a big celebration, a big party holiday.
Right.
So I can imagine that it is a busy night for the police department.
Yes.
So what are the biggest safety concerns surrounding this holiday?
Well, obviously, drunk driving,
Yes.
impaired driving. So we just want our community to know, please do not get behind the wheel if you've been drinking. Even if it's one, do the smart thing. There's Ubers. There are other rideshare companies. There's taxis.
Yes.
If you have a designated driver, make sure that person is sober. If you see
Yes.
somebody that has been drinking and you know that they're about to leave, just stop them. Even if it means that they need to stay the night at your house or your apartment. We don't want to see any drunk driving arrests, crashes, all the way up to fatalities.
Yes, absolutely. And the designated driver does not mean that the person who has drank the least, it is the person who has not drank at all.
Correct.
So what are a few simple things people can do before heading out to keep themselves safe?
Right. So, one, make sure you're hydrated.
Yes.
When you are partaking in drinking, if you're going to a bar or anything like that, just be mindful of your surroundings. Make sure that you, again, keep that designated driver to be kind of your liaison, right? To kind of follow you around. Make sure that y'all are safe if you're in a large group. So.
Yeah, and I am the designated mom of my friend group. I am not a drinker, so whenever we would go out in college, I was always all right, everybody stick together, I'll drive you home, I'll have a Diet Coke, y'all have fun, but if you need anything, I'm here.
I was a designated dad of my friend group, so
Yes.
I get it.
So during the community living course, that is for those who get in trouble or may get a citation from the city, again, it all goes back to education, and we always tell them, stick with your friends. Don't abandon your friends on their 21st birthday. I know the officers that come and speak during the course always say, without fail, the people they find on their own and intoxicated, it's their birthday and all of their friends have left them.
Right.
So stick with your friends, stick with your group, and if you do find yourself needing help, don't hesitate to, if you're in Northgate, contact the C-STEP officers. They are
Right.
there to help you.
Absolutely. Yeah, the worst thing that you can do is I believe, walking.
Yes.
Just start walking and you don't know where you're going. If you're walking along the railroad track because you're trying to get to the barracks, that's a long walk.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be walking. If you're intoxicated, you don't need to be out there fumbling through the streets, crossing major roadways and anything like that. So our officers are here to help. You can call us. We'll come out and we'll help you. If your phone's not charged, we'll try. We will do our absolute best. A lot of those C-STEP officers actually carry multiple different chargers in a power pack
Yes.
to charge people's phones because it's a big need. Everybody's phones, I don't know why, but people do not charge their phones before they go out
Right.
for multiple hours and take pictures and post on Instagram and stuff like that. So just make sure you charge the phone.
So switching gears, are there any recent crime trends that you are seeing this time of year or in the past few months?
Yeah, so again, we preface it multiple times is vehicle burglaries.
Yes.
There's been a couple home burglaries, But the vehicle burglaries is big. It's all across Bryan and College Station and in the county and across the nation. It's unfortunately, we get so busy in our day-to-day activities that we forget to lock our vehicles and remove our items. There's so many videos now of people's home security cameras picking up criminals, whether they're masked up or whether they're wearing hoods, literally going car to car through the neighborhood. And they have their flashlight, they're checking door handles, and it's a crime of opportunity at that point. So they're going to take whatever they think is valuable. And what we're seeing is majority of the time they're taking any kind of electronics to personal identifying information. If you left your wallet in there, they're going to use your credit card, debit card, your IDs, things of that nature. And the worst thing that they can do, in my opinion, is take a firearm.
Yes.
We have a lot of guys and gals that decide that, hey, this is a safe place for me to store my weapon. It's actually not.
No.
It is absolutely not a safe place to store it. We're not saying you can't. We're saying you need to lock your vehicle and you need to lock whatever compartment that is in, right? Because criminals are using those for other nefarious reasons. They are equipping those things with, sights and flashlights, as well as, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of what's called Glock switches being put on the back of these firearms now. And to somebody who doesn't know what a Glock switch is, that converts a semi-automatic firearm where you're pulling the trigger one time and a bullet comes out to making it a fully automatic, right? So it's super dangerous.
Yes.
Obviously not trying to put fear into the community, but we have it here, right? And if we can get legal gun owners to understand that their vehicle is not the safe space for that to be stored in, then that's one less gun in the criminal's hand.
Right, absolutely. And especially with hunters that are trying to get out into the woods early in the morning, loading their gear up. Make sure it is secure.
Correct.
When you're putting it in there.
Correct.
That is a big one that might be overlooked.
It is.
Yes.
So, and then another thing too is people leave their key fobs.
Yes.
In their car. I don't understand it. I've never understood it. I guess there's different car manufacturers that have an app on their phone where they can leave their key in the car and they can lock it and go inside or not lock it. But we're taking a lot of car thefts, vehicle thefts from just people leaving their keys in the car.
Yeah.
You go to the store, to the gas station, you're not supposed to leave your keys in the car with it running.
Right.
Turn your car off, take your keys inside. Don't leave your keys inside the car whenever you get home or to whatever destination. Again, it's opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, there are vehicles that are targeted, and some of these criminals are very, very smart in the way that they can steal certain vehicles, but a lot of them have the keys because they're sitting in a cup holder.
Gotcha. And I know that a lot of people might think, well, I left my car unlocked because I didn't want them to break my window. But 9 times out of 10, they're, like you said, just checking the handles.
Correct.
And are going to break in the less obvious and less noisy way.
Correct.
And as a good rule of thumb, like we said, just don't keep anything in your car that you don't want taken.
Correct. And it doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in.
Right.
You can live in the south side of town where, it's very quiet, or you could live smack dab in the heart of town, right next to, Texas A&M campus. They're going to go wherever they want and they'll find at least 10 in a night or in a 30-minute stretch that have been unlocked, and they're going to steal stuff.
Yes. And my in-laws back home, they live in the middle of nowhere. It's so remote that there's like a mile between each house, but even they have been targets of similar crimes.
Yep.
And everybody out there thinks, oh, you don't need to lock your doors. It's just us out here. No, always take those precautions.
Always.
So what precautions should people take for their homes if they are out celebrating away from their home for a few days or for an evening?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a home security system, arm it.
Yes.
Every time you leave the house. Make sure all of your doors, all of your windows are locked. Make sure the garage doors are shut.
Yes.
If you have, we have the luxury of keypad locks and everything like that. But, there are certain tools, remotes, that can be programmed to open up a garage. Well, if you use your key, your actual home key, make sure that garage door leading inside the home is locked as well. So, security system.
Yes.
Make sure if you have a deter system that sets out an alarm or a notification outside that's very audible, a lot of times that deters anybody. I mean, I've walked down the street just with my kids and somebody else's alarm goes off. Not their alarm, sorry, their deter system goes off, but we're not in their driveway, and it scares me.
Right.
So I could only imagine if I was actually out there doing criminal activity, that would probably scare me even more and make me just go run off. So.
Yes, absolutely. I know I have one, and it does a little like woohoo.
Yep.
Walking by, which might not sound so scary, but
Right.
if you're already on edge doing something wrong, it can be a big deterrent.
Correct.
And are there any scams or suspicious activities people should be on the lookout for this time of year specifically?
The only scams that we have kind of seen as of late is just your normal, just random phone calls, random text messages or emails saying, take this action or click this link. If you answer the phone and it is one of these, it takes a minute for them to actually talk.
Right.
And these scams are coming in on your phone, like there's a phone call, through a 979, so our area code, and you don't think anything of it. So then you answer it, and then they're going to push for you to take action. So a lot of that action, they're wanting you to go down and get gift cards to pay something. We've seen, and in fact, all of the departments, law enforcement departments as well, have received calls from citizens that are getting phone calls from such and such from the police department saying you need to pay. Well, we don't handle that. If we issue you a citation, you have to go to the municipal court to handle said citation. We're not going to ask you for money. That's not our job. So
we will never ask you for any money.
Absolutely not. Nope, not going to happen. So just be mindful of that. If you need to do a little bit more research, just, there's so much data on Google, with different forms of scams, from phishing and what else are the other ones? We do all the training for them. We do so many trainings, right?
Yeah,
But a lot of our community doesn't have that.
Right.
And so our elderly community gets scammed constantly.
Right, because they are not familiar with technology like we are.
And so we have to be the ones that have to take that report. And a lot of times, those reports, our suspects are probably from out of the country.
Yeah.
And there's not much that we can do. So being able to understand what a scam call is, or a text message or a email, will help deter you as a citizen, from getting your money taken away, right?
So what is one message that you'd like everybody in College Station to remember as we ring in the new year?
Safety is priority.
Yes.
Everybody's safety in all accounts, right?
Yes, safety is very, very important, and it might not be the most exciting thing to think about, but it is definitely something that is needed.
Yes, I mean, it's our job.
Right.
100% it is our job. Public safety is our job. So we encourage everybody just to take the necessary steps to being safe, to planning out your travel, to planning out your designated driver, to planning out locking your vehicles and locking your homes, things like that. Why we're here talking about this.
Yes, absolutely. Before we go, we have a fun game that we do on the show of Would You Rather, and this week it's all themed to New Year's and celebrations. So before we wrap things up, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Would you rather ring in the new year at a crowded party or a quiet night at home with friends?
A quiet night at home. I don't like crowds.
Yes, me neither. Would you rather host the New Year's party or be a guest who brings the snacks?
Guest who brings the snacks.
Yes.
Because then I don't have to clean up.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good point. Good point. Would you rather stay up until midnight to ring in the new year or go to bed early and celebrate on New Year's Day?
I'm always about going to bed early.
Yes.
Always about going to bed early.
Would you rather celebrate with games and music or food and conversation?
Food and conversation.
Yeah.
It's just something more personal.
Yes.
instead of just a bunch of music just blasting in your ears. Having fun, being able to go and just communicate and conversate with anybody and everybody that's there. That's just, it's more wholesome.
Yes,
I
more
feel like.
wholesome. And finally, would you rather make one realistic New Year's resolution or 5 ambitious ones?
Not a big New Year's resolution guy, because everybody has those for like, oh, I'm going to start, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to go to the gym, and then
Yeah.
they fall off in a week. Well, then that first week, the gyms are all crowded,
Right.
and it drives me up a wall. But, maybe it's five ambitious ones, because then you can maybe fall off on a couple of them, and if you get like 2 of them done, then hey, at least you accomplished something.
Right.
Rather than just
Absolutely.
failing at the one.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you.
today. This was a lot of fun and very educational. One more time, where can people find out more?
Yeah, so anything on our website, the College Station Police Department, or on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So.
Alrighty. And that's what's up.